How you doing, people? Welcome back to another ESO Build video. Today is the very eagerly awaited Burn update, the Magicka DK with a twist. This hasn't had an update for a very, very long time, and now it is channeling its inner Scorpion by bringing flaming skulls to the table. Stay tuned if you want to see more. So what happened? Well, the Burn build has been very popular over many years and hasn't had an update for a little while. Previously, it used to take advantage of chains where you pull and the enemy, if they're not CC'd, would return the cost, which meant you could spam that Ardent Flame ability as a single target spammable for free, and you would benefit from the heightened strength from the whip that you then built up from multiple Ardent Flame stacks. That still does work, but you have to understand now, not then, now, that the chain recently, over the last couple of years, has introduced a temporary taunt, one that can't be overridden by its own type, but a major taunt can. So if you pull the target first and that hasn't been taunted by the tank yet, that is a bit of a problem. It wasn't a problem initially, but now it is. So if you're experienced, that will still work for you, but if you're not, bit tricky. Well, lucky for you, I've made an update. So this particular build not only has an update now for update 47, but it has a twist to it. That particular version of the chain is gone. We've replaced it with a different one if you choose to. That's not set in stone. You don't have to use it. But we've also introduced a way to channel its inner Scorpion where we are now firing flaming skulls. We are mixed with the Necromancer and the Templar. So this is no longer just a Dragon Knight. This is a subclass mixture of 3 different classes, and all 3 benefits that stack together are insane for this particular update. So we're going to go loosely into stats because I need to explain to you why these are useless, and then we'll go straight into the gear. So first of all, you need food and potions on, yes, of course, and this would be nice as well if we can, although it makes a major difference. Stats are irrelevant. Why? Because if you build this build exactly as you should, all of these stats will match anyway. So you don't have to start wiggling shapes to try and manipulate skills and buffs and bonuses and sets in order to match these, because if you just match them, it's no good. Those stats make no sense. They won't actually help you because there's a lot of stuff on the build that doesn't show in the stats. So bear in mind, this sheet makes idiots of people a lot of the time. All you need to understand is this is where you'll end up. Now, there are buffs and bonuses that can enhance this quite dramatically. So in combat, that 4.8k weapon and spell damage is going to go up way past 7 or 8. There is a crit bonus that you can get from your group. There's pen bonuses, which were actually really high in anyway. There's resistance bonuses you can get from your group. All of this can change. But this is what you should have at base if you have everything done correctly. 64 points into max Magicka, Thief Understone, and then the food is your choice. Flat Magicka and health food is very good for this because it's the highest 2 flat stats you can get. But if you are struggling with sustainability and you can't manage your resources very well, yes, you're responsible for that, you will need to do one of 2 things or combine them. Heavy attack occasionally when the opportunity arises. Don't run out. Use it when you're about halfway or so just to maintain. Or use some recovery food. Now, I don't mean the stuff that doesn't give you health. I mean the purple stuff or the gold stuff that gives you health, Magicka, and recovery. Anything that will benefit you in that way will help you. You'll be a bit squishier. You'll have a little less damage, but you'll be able to spam stuff more often. Now, if you mix the 2, that's actually very beneficial. But this is designed to take advantage of groups where you have lots and lots of recovery at your disposal. You can take synergies, etc, etc. If that isn't the case, change your food. Now, gear. The important stuff. Are we using the same stuff as before? No. Similar idea, but no. This is utilizing something that you can get all by yourself. The first set, at least. Pyrebrand is from Infinite Archive. So solo or duo, or you and a companion, which is technically still solo. You've just brought an imaginary friend. This will give you penetration bonuses, 2 weapon and spell damage bonuses, and your light attacks, as long as you weave them, will give you a dot for 6 seconds per target. If you light attack a target, you will have a flame damage over time effect on that target. So all you need to do is light attack weave between your skills, and this is inevitable. It is a never-ending skill because you should be able to maintain it. Really easy free dot, just for light attacking. Obviously, we've got a poison glyph on the front bar with precise. Now, this is a lightning staff, not flame on purpose. Yes, tried and tested. You can use either one of the 2 if you prefer, but because there's so much direct damage being applied in this particular build, it made a big difference to have this as a lightning, not fire. You could argue that we've got status and damage over time, which we do, and we are supporting that. But the balance between damage over time and direct damage was sated or satisfied or actually really well placed if you had a lightning staff instead of flame. Because instead of pushing one area, you're now pushing two. So half of the build is pushing the damage over time, half of the build is pushing direct damage, and the balance is there. If you go flame staff, you lose a lot of direct damage, and it does actually negatively impact the build. Here's an extra bonus to this set. If you need to heavy attack, or if you would like to, up to 3 damage over time abilities on that target will disappear from you, and in return, you will make the target explode in area of effect. Now, this deals more damage to lower health enemies, so it's a built-in execute if you prefer. And the more dots you have, the stronger it gets, from 1 to 3, or 0 to 3. Either way, it's an explosion for free. So free damage over time, and free explosion when you want it. Just bear in mind, you will have to reapply your dots. But in an emergency situation where you've got no resources anyway, and you throw in a couple of heavy attacks, or you're just at range and you can't really figure out where the target is and you just want to hold heavy attack and try and pinpoint it somehow, then this can benefit you, and it does a substantial amount of damage. So, your emergency, oh my god, my resources are down, actually blows up rooms. Now, where this goes doesn't matter, apart from the lightning staff. The front bar staff needs to be this. The rest of your gear, jewelry, or body pieces don't matter because we're going all light. We are going 100% light. We need the recovery. We want the resources. We're going all light. So you can put this anywhere. Now, jewelry, we've taken advantage of, obviously, just for the sake of example, with weapon and spell damage and magic recovery on each one, all of them bloodthirsty. So 3 on the jewelry and 1 on the weapon. Again, where you put this is up to you. But I would highly recommend weapon and jewelry because the body pieces we're using are quite difficult to get weapons and jewelry if you're not doing the harder version of the trial. This comes from Cloud Rest. You don't have to have Perfected. If you do have Perfected, you get some extra weapon and spell damage. But if you don't, it's not the end of the world. You'll still hit really, really hard. This was on the build for years, and it is still here. But put it on the body pieces. You can go on normal, get the non-perfected, slap it on, or you can go on vet and get it eventually if you do the hard modes or the +1, +2, +3. Now, what does this do? Dealing damage with a light or heavy attack, which supports this set, by the way. Light or heavy. So 2 things that both bounce off the same benefit or action. Creates an attack, creates a fire ring underneath you for 8 seconds. This effect can happen once every 8, so the actual trigger of it once every 8. But every second spent standing in the ring increases your weapon and spell damage. So all you have to do is fire a light or heavy once every 8 seconds and make sure you stay in the ring. This will stack up to 10 times, so it gives you a phenomenal amount of weapon and spell damage alongside the rest of the set. Now, they boosted this. How did they boost it? Well, this is one of those sets that is micromanagey. It is advanced. So you have to pay very close attention to what you're doing. And that meant that lesser experienced players didn't really benefit from this at all. Now, up front, you have an extra 200 weapon and spell damage to start with. Before, it was a higher number overall. Now, technically, the number is higher with the introduced extra 200 weapon and spell damage. But if you're less experienced, instead of getting nothing, you still start with an extra 200. So while you stack 44 weapon and spell damage up to 10 times, so 440, technically, if you get maximum, you have 640. So it's a benefit to those that are inexperienced and a really big one to those that are. Either way, you can use it. So the better you get with this, the more you're rewarded, but you're not getting nothing. They changed a few sets like that in Update 47 to help people gain some accessibility to sets that they already had, but they couldn't use. Anyway, short version, stand in the circle, increase weapon and spell damage. All you need to do is lights and heavies. This, all you need to do is lights and heavies. Easy peasy. Maelstrom weapon on the back bar with infused weapon and spell damage glyph. This will fire off of your wall of elements and maintain as long as your wall of elements is there. You don't need perfected. You can get this from Maelstrom on normal. Your wall of elements is now stronger. Wall of elements on the ground, 100% of the time, will maintain this glyph no matter which bar you're on. Never let it run out. And the monster helmet and shoulder set. We are using Zaan. You can use Groftar if you want. You can use more of Infernal if you want. Both of those are very good choices. They are easier to acquire, but they will give you less DPS. Maybe about 5 or 6k less overall, but they are still quite nice. Now, from Unhallowed Grave, there is obviously the Necro one, which is Yalnar's Nightmare. This particular set didn't actually outperform. It hit bloody hard and quite close, but Zaan was better. Because Zaan, if you're close, will constantly apply a beam, when it's ready, of fire damage that will continuously fire burn and status effects, which you do benefit from as a DK. This was very, very significant to your overall DPS. This hit, and it fires off of lights and heavies, so same as the rest of your set. This one does require light attacks, but they are so tight. This is a skill-based set. If you miss any light attacks anywhere close to 5 seconds apart, maybe you get stuck in content somewhere where you've been stunned, or you're at the back of the room and you can't quite reach, you're not experienced enough yet, this is going to fall off left, right, and center. Zaan, quite easy. It's a beam, stay close. This particular set here, all you need to do is light attack once every 6, and you've got a flame damage over time. Really easy. Even if you heavy attack, you do explosions. This one, light attack once every 8 seconds maximum. Make sure you stay in the fire. Those are quite forgiving. When you start getting down to 5 seconds or less, that's when it gets really tricky for inexperienced players. So, 1, I don't recommend it because it's slightly weaker, and 2, don't make it too difficult for yourself. Zaan, Pyrebrand, and Siroria. All day long. Now, if you don't have Siroria, go get it. That's the easiest answer. Go get it. If you think you can't get in trials, go make a group, find a group, and go get it. But if you have to use anything else right now because you can't possibly go into a trial because it's too much stress, don't worry. You can use Burn and Spellweave, Spell Power Cure. You can even use Tideborn, which is a crafted set. You can use anything you like because nothing's going to be the same as this. So long as it gives you increased weapon and spell damage or extra damage towards your skills, that will be fine. I would highly recommend this though. DPS-wise, we'll get to that later when we get to the rotation. Now, skills. So, first of all, Venomous Claw. Now, you can use the flamey one if you want to get the heals, but this one does significantly more damage and was easier to sustain your overall rotation because now we're not utilizing Magicka for this particular skill. We're using Stamina. We are magic heavy on our rotation, so it's going to peel off of your Magicka bar quite quickly. So this being a Stamina version instead benefited from a poison status effect, extra damage, extra execute damage because poison status increases damage the lower the health. This does more damage over time, and it costs stamina. So multiple different reasons for choosing this. If you want to use the Healy one, you of course can, but you are going to suffer resource-wise, so you will need to heavy attack more. So, Flame one, perfectly fine. Less DPS, but gives you heals. This one, really, really, really nice and a lot more damage. You just apply it to the target, leave it running. Barb Trap. Fight skill somewhere. Put this on the ground. Underneath the target. After 1.5 seconds, it will pop. Then, for 20 seconds, it will bleed on the target and you get minor force the whole time. That means your crit damage is up and you do loads of damage on single target. And this has a heightened chance of applying Hemorrhage, which is a bleed status effect. So 2 major status effects at once, running pretty much on tap. As soon as you fire these skills, they're going to apply their respective statuses, no problem. Detonating Siphon. This is free. So sustainability is covered in this skill. This one is stamina, this one is stamina, this one is free. Which means we've now got the freedom to fire more magical-based skills. Where does this come from? Gravelord. So, what you need to do is you need a corpse. Don't worry, that's coming. You will get one. If you see a corpse under the target, activate this for free. And for 20 seconds, you'll have a beam attached to you that will do damage over time in the form of disease damage. This is very, very powerful. It does apply Major Savagery and Prophecy to you, so you do get that benefit, but we have got that anyway. So that's neither here nor there. When it ends, it explodes. Note carefully, it says when it ends, which means if you recast it for free, it will pop and start again. So that's free damage. Also, while slotted, your damage done is increased by 3%. So for being there, even if you're not firing at right now, all of your damage is improved. So corpse on the ground, activate it, free beam, free damage, free pop. Easy. 3 different types of damage as well. We've got poison, bleed, and disease. And then we've got Scorpion Influence. We've got Flaming Skulls. This is from the same skill line. Yes, I've made it red so it looks awesome because we don't want too much blue. We want fire and stuff. This will do flame damage initially when it hits, obviously, but it will stack up how many you fired. Every third cast of this ability deals 50% increased damage, so the one that flashes, that will do more, and creates a corpse near the initial enemy and will bounce up to 2 times to other nearby enemies. So this creates corpses, and this can consume it. But wait, there's more coming when we get to the back bar, because this is going to get boosted a lot. Not only is it direct damage, not only is it fire, and magic, but it's also going to get boosted by this. But we'll go to that in a moment. Radiant Ward is from the Templar skill line from not Ardent Flame, Adric Spear. We're not technically tied to this skill. The reason this is here is because of passives. Technically speaking, you could activate it as a damage shield and protect yourself, which is not a bad thing. It's really nice to have a damage shield or heal on your bar, regardless of what you're playing. I would leave this here for crit damage bonuses. It gives you the passive crit bonuses that come with the Templar. If you have enough crit damage in your group, people are using Major Brittle and stuff like that, you won't necessarily need this, in which case, as long as you can maintain it, because it will cost you a lot of resources, your group will have to be responsible for providing buffs, bonuses, synergies, etc. for you to take advantage of, and you'll be responsible for your heavy attacks if need be. But in the scenario that you don't need this, what you can do is you can take advantage of this. Chains of Devastation. If you activate this, it's a gap closer. Unless you're really, really close, in which case you don't move at all. It's insta-cast, so it doesn't get locked like Stampede or anything like that. It does flame damage initially, which is decent. It's not massive, but it's decent. It will give you a speed buff, but above all, it will give you Major Berserk for 4 seconds. So if you fire this and then fire multiple skulls, fire this, then multiple skulls, you're hitting much, much harder. That is very tricky. It's very advanced, and I would only recommend it if you are an advanced player in a situation that allows for it. The choice is yours. Increase crit damage and a damage shield just in case you need it, or extra damage if the crit damage is already applied in your group and you've gone over cap. You will need Major Brittle in your group in order for that to happen. If you don't have Major Brittle in your group, don't even bother. Now, Ultimate is Flawless Dawnbreaker. We're not using it unless it's an emergency and you want to just finish something off and get some weapon and spell damage before execute. Outside of that, it's there for stats. Fighter skill gives you extra weapon and spell damage. We're leaving it there. Back bar, Gravelord's Sacrifice. This is your blast bones with a twist. This one doesn't actually jump at the target. You summon a skeleton for 2.5 seconds, and it leaps at you, sacrificing itself. And for 20 seconds, you increase all damage done with Necromancer abilities and damage over time effects by 15%. Which means all of your dots on this back bar, the dots on the front bar, all 3 of them, and your skull do more damage. All of them do more damage for having this continuously active. But wait, there's more. Your third cast of the skull damages in a 6-meter area of effect. So the third skull not only does more damage, but it now explodes. So this all lines up perfectly. 2 damage over time that is stamina based, 1 that is completely free and gives you more damage as well. Another one that is magical costing and is themed with the build perfectly, and this boosts the lot. Next up is Unstable Wall of Fire. Destro skill line, very easy. Wall of Elements, morph it to Unstable Wall of Elements. When this finishes, i.e. when you recast it and a new one lands and the old one's gone, or it runs out, it will explode. The damage you apply with this determines the outcome because it has different benefits, but with fire on the back bar, which means this will do more damage to enemies that are burning, and they will be. So if something is burning with a burning status effect, you will do more damage with this skill. Essentially, this needs to be under the target at all times. If it is, your back bar glyph will always fire and you'll always get extra weapon and spell damage. Never let this run out. Next is Engulfing Flames. This is a DK skill from Ardent Flame. Yes, we're using the entire skill line, by the way. The whole one. So if anyone just goes, class identity, we're using the whole skill line. Anyway, Engulfing Flames. Fire this. Your weapon and spell damage determines the strength of this skill. So weapon and spell damage or maximum magical or stamina, whichever is highest contributor, you'll benefit from. We are actually capping this because we've got this to 6%. Anyone that attacks the target that you have this on with fire damage will do 6% more, including you. Also, its damage over time. It has an initial burst in area of effect. We'll show it because it looks cool. It's Flame Breath. It'll hit multiple targets, but 6 of them will be affected with the damage over time. Really simple. Fire, damage over time. Long duration. Don't let it run out. It buffs the group. Flames of Oblivion, same skill line. This you need to fire at least once every 15 seconds, and it will fire fireballs every 5. This does give Major Prophecy and Savagery for being on either bar. We do actually have that covered on the front bar anyway, so it doesn't really matter about that bonus, but we'll take it. And it's just in case you change the build. Maybe you take off some Necromancer skills, who knows. But if you do want to take advantage of this, obviously you will do substantial direct damage to multiple targets close to you. It will hit 3 enemies at a time, and you don't want to let this run out. It's relatively cheap, but you have to watch your rotation because you can end up running dry very, very quickly if you're not timing it right. That will make more sense in the rotation, but essentially the back bar stuff, this on the floor, this on the target, this active. Keep these up at all times while maintaining these and spamming this. This is not an easy rotation, but once you get your head around it, it's not that bad. And I'll show you some tips in the rotation section on how to maintain this and how to keep an eye on absolutely everything the easy way. Yes, of course, you can have add-ons, but without add-ons, I'm going to show you how to do that. Molten Whip. This is your flex slot. Technically speaking, I would highly recommend that you have this. This goes on the bar, and for each Ardent Flame ability you fire, you will get a stack of Seething Fury. Once you get to 3, that is maximized. You will get 100 weapon and spell damage for 15 seconds for each stack, so up to 300 weapon and spell damage. If you maintain your rotation as you should, this will never run out. Technically speaking, if you activated it at 3 stacks, you would remove the buff and do a wicked flip and hit really hard with the whip. But you don't need to because the skull is going to hit harder. Leave this on your bar, and while on either bar, using this skill, or this skill, will add stacks to this. Once you get to 3, it will just continuously refresh it. Now, if you are struggling with your survival, and you can't possibly manage, swap this for Vigor. That's all I'm telling you to do. Swap it for Vigor. That will give you a heal on your bar. You will lose weapon and spell damage, but you will be much, much safer in content if that is your preference. For damage, use this all the time. For survival, put Vigor on. You'll be fine. Standard of Might. Main ultimate. Don't leave home without it. We're using this all the time. Front bar is for stats. Back bar is for active. This will put a banner on the ground, it will last 20 seconds, it will set fire to everyone inside of it. It's incredibly powerful. But standing inside of it, all of the damage you take is reduced by 15%. All of the damage you do is increased by 15%. So this hits hard. Make sure that you stand inside it if you want to take advantage of it. As soon as you leave that area, you don't get the benefit anymore. Bear in mind, this also applies Major Defile, which reduces healing received and damage shield strength, and the group can take a synergy from this, which shackles enemies, immobilizes them, to the banner. And it does flame damage as well from that particular synergy, so it's very, very strong. As soon as this is ready, you need to activate it. Now, we don't have Earth and Heart abilities, so it's not going to give you resources back. So again, this has been built very specifically to allow you to take advantage of buffs, bonuses, and synergies in your group, but at the same time, it's paced enough. You may need a heavy attack occasionally or recovery food to allow you to maintain a healthy rotation without burning out. The biggest mistake people make when they're using Magicka as a main source of damage types for a Dragonknight specifically is that they use very expensive skills because they want to use them all, and they try to use them all together and they run dry. They say the mag DK sustainability is bad. No, your choices have made your sustainability bad. Your inability to maintain your own resources has made your subjective sustainability bad. We've made it so half of that problem, and that meme itself, is now gone. You will still need to keep an eye on your resources. But this stamina free, means that 3 skills on your front bar already are not affecting your Magicka bar. These ones, of course, all are. But you've got passives that make your skull cheaper and your blast bonus cheaper, so that also helps. Not to mention, of course, this skill here doesn't even get pressed. So we've got 4 skills on the back bar that are Magicka costing, 1 on the front. We've got 3 skills on the front that are stamina, so technically we're a bit of a hybrid. This is here for emergencies. That's all. Now, passives. Passives are important. I'm not going to read through these completely. There's a build guide, and also there's lots and lots of different guides on the channel, on the website, explaining how the passives work, what they do, etc. But I'm going to tell you which ones to get because they are important. You're going to want every single one of these Ardent Flame abilities because they increase the duration, the damage, and the effects that come from Ardent Flame abilities. Especially this one that gives you heightened damage for status from poison or burning, and it gives you resources back once every 3 seconds for applying them. That is important. Extra damage, extra duration, goes without saying, you're going to need it. Adric Spear. The reason we have this skill line is because of passives. We do not necessarily in all scenarios need Radiant Ward. That is an emergency damage shield and a passive bonus to crit damage. Remember, if you've got Major Bristle in your room, you won't need this. If you haven't, of course, slot it. But essentially, you need these because of crit damage for having an ability on your bar. You get Minor Berserk if you use them, but that's not necessarily that important because we're not using it that often. Alongside Minor Protection as well. You get Burning Light and Balanced Warrior. These are the main two that we want them for. This, for being on the bar, yes. But these two, you want no matter what. If you do damage, you will stack bonuses that will give you free damage. Really, really simple. Just keep doing damage. This one here, flat bonus. Armor and weapon and spell damage. We are quite squishy, so that's going to help. Gravelord, very important. This will make your sacrificial bones and pets, if you had them, cheaper. We're not using pets, but it will still benefit anyway. This increases your execute value for crit strike. So the lower the health, the more crit chance you have. This will increase your spell pen while a Gravelord ability is active. So not just spell, physical as well. So as you saw earlier, you can see that our pen is sitting on 8.7k. We're in combat, and we activate this. Pen is now a whopping 12k. Stats aren't that important all the time. You're not going to be able to manipulate that with sets. You have to actually apply the skills. Anyway, back here. Increase your damage done with damage over time. All of our flame damage, all boosted. All of our bleed, poison, and disease damage, all boosted. Destro staff, get every one of these. You're going to need them all. They all benefit you, but we're using two different types of staves. This one, if you heavy attack with the flame staff on the back bar, you will put damage over time on the target. And it will increase the damage done with status effects and damage over time. But the lightning staff, if you channel it, it will pop in area of effect and do direct damage to everyone while doing the channel, winding it up. At the same time, you will also increase your direct damage. So the back bar is for damage over time and status, front bar is for direct and everything else. These do bounce off each other very, very well. It is more beneficial to have lightning on the front and flame on the back on this build than it is to go flame, flame. But either way, you still get benefits nonetheless. It's very, very useful to understand how these passives actually work so you can make a decision as to which heavy attack you want to take advantage of and which bar you want to be on at the time. If you kill an enemy, you get resources back. Easy. Oh, you also get more pen for Destro abilities, so your light, heavy, and your wall of elements is also important, and your status chance is higher because you are holding a Destro staff. Armor-wise, we are wearing nothing but light armor, so get all of these passives as soon as you can for extra recovery, extra pen, extra resistances, and extra crit chance. Fighter's Guild, you do want to get these. Intimidating Presence will get the cost down of Beast Trap. This one will give you increased weapon and spell damage for Fighter's Guild abilities being on the bar, so we've got two. And this, of course, will give you ultimate back if you get kills. Really simple stuff. Of course, you do want to take advantage of this one, which your Fighter's Guild abilities do 10% more damage, and it doubles against players. Not so important for PvP because it's a PvE build, but you do want the passive nonetheless. Mage's Guild, irrelevant, we're not using any. Undaunted, of course, get these two bonuses. While we only have one type of armor, this is going to give you a benefit nonetheless, so take it. And if you take synergies, you get extra resources back. Don't leave synergies on the floor, you need them. They're there for you as a group. Look up the definition of the word synergy and stop ignoring them. Next is race. Race doesn't really matter, you can use whatever you like. But as a Khajiit, you do benefit from increased recovery. While that looks small, it's really not. Increased maximum health, stamina, and magicka, and increased critical damage and healing. So, crit healing or crit damage is up. It's very important to note that this particular bonus does support the build very, very well, but you can change if you want. If you want to go for something that's got less crit damage and more weapon and spell damage, that is your choice, but you're going to lose flat bonuses and recovery. The recovery bonuses alongside the choices we've made for the build did work very, very well. So if you can go Khajiit, I would highly recommend it. But if you don't, you are going to find yourself needing to heavy attack a little bit more often. That is all. Medicinal use. Resources, management, important. Use spell pots all day long for brutality and sorcery and for intellect. Unless, of course, your group is already bringing that, in which case tripods. You are going to need this passive because if it's grey, once it gets ready again, you can instantly reapply it. You can use 100% uptime on your potions. If your potions are not being used, you are doing it wrong. They are consumable buffs. Consume them. If you are not taking your potions because you think they're precious, then suffer in DPS and survival and resource management. You will struggle. Part of the build is to constantly use your potions. So if you run out, go buy some more. If you run out of money, go kill stuff until you've got enough to get some more. Or craft them. Now, champion points. I know that sounds really harsh, but honestly, some people need to kick up the ass. Sitting there saying, oh, my potions are too expensive, I'm not going to use them. Fair enough, but you can't expect maximum results out of it. If you want the best out of it, you're going to have to get those pods. It's part of the build. Wrathful Strikes, Deadly Aim, Thaumaturge, and Master at Arms. Those are the 4 major blue slottables you need, but in order to unlock them, you need to get this here, get 10 points in there, and that will unlock this tree. If you go into here, get 10 points in here, and that will unlock this tree. The blue slottable ones are your most essential. They're very, very important. Now, bear in mind, if you are struggling with survival, you can, if you choose to, sacrifice one of these. I would recommend this one. And replace it with Reven Blows. You're doing a lot of damage over time, but you're also doing a lot of direct, which means your skull firing and your light attacks and your heavy attacks at the pop at the end, anything that does direct damage will heal you. So if you are struggling, this is a very good option, but you will lose DPS. Now, again, these white ones here are passives. Anyone in any role can get all of these, but you need to unlock these blue ones first and get them out of the way. After that, the rest is inevitable. Take your time, you'll get there. Red stuff, very important. This increases your max health, this increases your armor, and this increases your recovery. If you've got recovery already sorted in your group and you're really, really on top of it, then of course you can swap for a different one, which is down here, which is Bloody Renewal, so it'll give you stamina back per kill. But I would highly recommend maintaining this recovery bonus because otherwise you will suffer. It is expensive. This does help. Each kill will give you 1,500 Magicka back. Alongside your Destro passives, very, very helpful. The way to unlock this stuff is to get points into here, then some into here, and then open this one up, and these will be available. So you just need one of those, 2 if you're good on recovery. These 3, don't need anything. You can buy them straight away. Green ones, don't matter. Highly recommend getting this, just so that you're faster between fights. Doesn't affect combat. This, so that if you are leveling subclassing skills or any skills, while they're on your bar, you get more XP. And you've obviously got longer duration of food. You might not even use one of your precious potions, but you still get the bonuses. Lots of different passives here that don't even take up any slots. So as quality of life, get whatever you fancy. Rotation. This is not easy, but I'm going to make it easier for you. Options. Combat. Ability bar timers on. Ability back bar row on. Make sure these are on. If you don't have them on, you are going to struggle. These are very, very important little tick boxes that will change the way you see your character and its rotation regardless of your build. If you don't see the timers, you will have to micromanage mentally how long you've got until the next skill is ready. But look very carefully. My Beast Trap, which is here, has a timer on it when it pops, if in combat. That is the countdown. That is when I know that when it goes down to almost 0, I need to light attack and reapply it. However, if I swap bars, look at its position, there is now a yellow bar counting down, which is equivalent to that timer. Which means if I'm on the wrong bar, I can tell if it's ready. So Wall of Elements is on the same button. That needs to be maintained at all times. So while I'm on the front bar doing this, I can see when it is ready. Light attack skill swap. Like wall, come back. I can maintain it forever. Now, that's the basic way to look at your timers. Now we're going to add lots and lots and lots of them. If you're familiar with the burn build, you'll probably be fine with this anyway. But if you're not, I'm going to tell you the basics of this and then we're going to put it all together. So first, this is your main bread and butter of the build. This, light attack, skulls. So you'll be doing this over and over and over. Now, as a necromancer wielding skill thrower, you will obviously put your staff away and throw skulls. The way to notice that you're doing the rotation perfectly is that when you're doing light attacks with your skulls, you don't see your staff. How does that make sense? Well, there's a staff, there's a light attack, there's a skull, there's a staff, there's a light attack, there's a skull. You don't want to see that. If you get this timed right, there is a video on my channel about light attack weaving. It will help you a lot. This will look like he's just using whizzy hands and no skull present, no staff present, as you can see. Now that will drop corpses occasionally, as you can see. If you see one of those, light attack, detonating siphon. That's free. As you can see, that lasts 20 seconds on my timer. And if I swap bars, I can see when it's going to run out. Let's put this all together. First of all, before you enter the fight, you want Flames of Oblivion. You need that to be running. When you get into the fight, you also want your Blast Bones to be active. Beast Trap down first of all. Swap bars. Wall of Elements. Flame Breath. Swap bars. Now you're in the spammable phase. You want to start throwing skulls, but you also want to get your Venomous Claw on. Once skulls have been thrown a few times, there'll be a corpse. Aha. Or the corpse from this. And now you just maintain it indefinitely. If Beast Trap is about to run out, activate it. Wall of Elements is running out, activate it. Anything that is going to run out, make sure it's back on. The rest of the time, spam this. Those timers are going to stagger. All you're doing right now is playing timer games and keep spamming. Now, the way to swap bars properly is to use an insta-casting skill first and swap while it is running. So, not like this, where you see light attack really slowly, skull really slowly, bar swap. Light attack, skill, bar swap. No, don't do that. You do this in rhythm. It's light skill. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Now, when you want to swap bars, it's 1, 2, swap. You do it inside the skill. 1, 2, swap. When you're going back with Wall of Elements, 1, 2, swap. You will see your staff do a wicked flip. Click, click, swap. Click, click, swap. Click, click, swap. Once you've got that rhythm down, there is a video about it, don't worry. In the beginners series, how to get good, there's one about lights and heavy attacks. Once you've got that nailed, your rotation will be very smooth. But the trick is, if you are swapping bar to change skills, to reapply it because it's about to run out, you need to do light attack, whichever skill you're firing, swap bars. Because that way it closes the gap. You're not just swapping loosely, because you will lose a significant amount of DPS. Example. This should be running already. This should be running already. This should be running already. Wall, breath, Venom Claw, skull. And now I'm just going to keep doing this. Look at my back bar. Okay. Light, skull, swap. Wall of Elements. Flames. Swap back. Continue. Now, Beast Trap is going to run out relatively soon, and so is my Blast Bones. So I'm going to go light, Beast Trap, swap, Blast Bones, wall, come back. Breath's running out. Detonating Siphon ran out on the front. Great. Flames of Oblivion ran out. Reapply. Wall's going to go soon, so you would normally activate that and carry on. Yeah, resources are low because I'm demonstrating. Basically, it's very, very dynamic in the fact that you have to maintain timers. It might seem difficult on the surface, but to start with, I want you to do this. I want you to put your Beast Trap down and your Wall of Elements and just spam skulls. Do this for the time being. If you think you've got the hang of that, introduce some Venomous Claw. The trick is now to keep an eye on the back bar timer. So, as long as you maintain these two for the time being, while spamming, you will run out of resource on a dummy, don't worry. As long as you're doing this, you're all good. Watch for that back bar swap. And carry on. Big tip. Since you're not using stamina that often, and it will maintain better than your Magicka bar, if you do need to swap bars, and you're not quite ready to fire a skull, because maybe it's the big one now coming, or whatever, you can light attack, Beast Trap, swap, use whatever skill you're using, and swap back again. Even if Beast Trap is way into its duration, firing this and then swapping bars doesn't cost you Magicka, and it has an initial pop, which will still maintain your DPS. All it does is reapplies the dot. Now, if it's a Magicka type skill, it's going to be very expensive for you to keep doing that. Don't do it. This Flame Breath lasts 24 seconds. Let it last 24 seconds. Beast Trap, though, if, for example, you need to get to the back bar anytime quickly, you can light Beast swap and then carry on as normal. You don't have to swap with a skull. You can swap with any instacast ability you like. But Beast Trap is better for your maintaining of resources. So, let's break this down again. Blast Bones and Flames need to be running before you go into a fight. Trap down first, wall, breath if you can help it, and then way into him with skull throwing. While the skull throwing is happening, introduce Venomous Claw, and when the body's on the ground, introduce your detonating siphon. And from there, you just rotate. Light, skull, light, skull, light, skull. Anything that runs out, make sure you light skull swap, or light Beast Trap swap. Reapply the skills, come back. I know it's very, very simple to have a much more static rotation for this particular build to benefit from all of its perks and bonuses and to give it a massive push since its previous update. That is the way that this build is now designed. Not every single build on the channel is going to be extremely easy, but if you can master it, this is going to hit fucking hard. This particular build, in the past, used to hit decent numbers. Now, if you're good at it, on that rig target dummy over there that has very, very specific buffs, bonuses, and variables on there that may or may not apply in content. Yes, I had to make that clear. There's more in the game that can go on to that. You are looking at 120k. Easily. If you're not very good at this at all, and you stumble over the buttons, and you're not sure where anything's going, because of the way the build is set up with the extra weapon and spell damage, and the free dots that are coming, and Zaan fire and all that kind of stuff, you're still going to crack around 100k. If you're really bad at it, you'll still hit 70 without even trying. It's really, really straightforward. Damage-wise, it does damage itself. It's just that the application of those buttons and how well you bar swap and how well you light attack weave, that will make the difference. And if you're really, really, really bad at it, if you're still struggling, you can't quite master it at all, keep up a beast trap and a wall of elements. Put dots on whenever you can and just heavy attack fire a skull. It will blow up. So if you're really, really shit at it, you'll still be fine. And then when you fancy introducing more skills, add them as and when you can. So for the advanced player, you're going to nail it. For the not so advanced player, you'll still splat rooms even if you're bad. Not saying less experienced players are bad. It's just that some people might not be very good at it. It's fine. You can still use it. If you're struggling with that, don't worry because there is a 1-bar build coming up very, very soon. Hot Sauce is getting an update to support this for those that want something a lot easier. Or not, you can just practice. Up to you. Now, there is one skill that I said you can introduce, and that is the Chains of Devastation. If you're doing very, very well in content and you have loads of crit damage out the friggin' nose and you're very advanced, then inside your rotations, occasionally, you can weave in this bad boy. This here will give you major berserk, so you will hit like a truck. Now, it only lasts 4 seconds, so you need to be very mindful of that. But it is still incredibly powerful to have as an extra boost to your overall damage. Now, this looks rather complicated, I'm aware. But if you're experienced, not so much. Anyway. You are going to need resource management. You are going to heavy attack occasionally. You are going to need to take synergies. It's all important. Anyway. Now it's time for fashion, because I'm sure you want to know how the hell I'm dressed like Scorpion. Even as a cat. Equipment. We are using Outlaw Helmet. Alongside Glass Light Chest. Not the robe, the jerkin. Daedric Light Shoulders. Earthbone Alien Gloves. Because this is a bit of old and new Scorpion. Fanglair Sash for the skull. Thieves Guild Legs. Heavy. Legion Zero Sabatons, because they look mega. And Ivory Bridge Staff on the front, with Ivory Bridge Staff on the back. I know they both look the same, so it's hard to differentiate between the two, but it's really not, because one has got a Poison Glyph and one has got a Berserker Glyph, so they have different colors. Happy days. We wanted a spear for Scorpion, so it makes sense. Anyway, the colors are basically black and yellow. So there's lots of different yellows in the game. They're some of the first ones on the list, actually. I think these ones here. A mixture between these two. And possibly this one. But whatever works for you. It's hard to get them matched exactly because glass affects colors very differently. The Thieves Guild one affects things very differently. There's lots of different materials, but try to get them as close as you possibly can. But that's the order that they belong in. One yellow on the first one there, one in the middle on the shoulders, first one on the hands, first on the legs, first on the feet. Easy peasy. So, hopefully that helped. I understand that this may be complicated for people if it's their first build or if it's their first DK build on the channel and they haven't seen the previous ones. This may be a little daunting for you at first, but honestly, stick with it. You're going to love it. It absolutely wrecks. Not just on the dummy, but in actual content. It's very, very efficient. So, keep this up for your group and splat stuff. Thank you very much for watching. I hugely appreciate support. If you are not subscribing already, hit that button. It's free. And let me know in the comment section below. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you still playing ESO? Have you come back from a long, long break? Or have you quit entirely and still watching videos anyway? Thank you again. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.